Right, good morning YouTube and welcome to my channel, Jules Craft Room. I'm Julie and today I'm looking at the summer picnic, the Sada summer cow, the picnic blanket, and I'm going to start doing a crochet along for this as well as the other ones I've done in the past. This is, you can get it off the Sada site for £37.50, the kit. Or you can get it from the little wool shop for £32, the wool factory for £32.75, Wool & Crafts 31, and Wool Warehouse 33. I don't know if you get the pom-pom maker with the other companies or the little label, but you do with the Sada one. Yeah, so I've got the yarn, I've done an unboxing if you want to watch that, and I'm going to start with the tutorial. So I'll turn you around and we'll make a start on week 1. Right, okay, you can download the pattern free of charge off the Sada website. I'm doing the UK terms, but you can get it in either. And we're going to start with week 1, which is the granny stripes. And I'm using the 4mm crochet hook, which is what's recommended by the designer. And you have to start off by making 171 chain. So I'm going to use some of my stitch markers to mark off when I get to 50, so that if I lose count, I don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. So I'm going to do a slip knot, and then I'm going to start. I'm going to start by winding the thread round my little finger, round the back of that finger, there and there. And that's how I hold my thread. And then with these two fingers that are free, the thumb and this third finger, I pinch the work there. And then I'm going to do my chain. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And I'm going to put a stitch marker in there. So if I get distracted, I know that's how far I've got to. Right, I'm going to continue and I'll see you when I've got to my 171. Right, I have now done my 171 stitches. I put a marker in at the first 50, and then another at the next 50, another at that 50, and then there's 21 there. So the first row, which is the wrong side of your work, is 1 double crochet into the second chain. So this is your first chain, and this is your second. So you're doing 1 double crochet into here. And that's your double crochet. And then you will do 1 double crochet into each chain to the end. And you should have 170. So it's a double crochet, another double crochet, another double crochet. So I'm going to count these as I go along, so I know if I've got the right amount. So far I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And that is where the stitch marker was. And I had 21 chains from the stitch marker, and because we missed one at this end, so now I've got 20 to the stitch marker, so that's correct. Right, so I'm going to carry on to the end, and I'll see you when we've finished our first row. Right, so as you can see, I put stitch markers in every 50 as I went along doing the double crochet, and I got to the end and I've got the 170 double crochets. So now I'm going to turn round and I'm going to do row 2, and this is the right side, and they want you to 3 chain, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do a treble into each stitch to the end. So yes, I found the notes, and in the notes it says that starting chains do not count as stitches. So this 3 chain does not count as a treble. So now we're going to do a treble in each stitch, so that will mean that you will have to put it into the bottom here, this first chain. So it'll look like that. It'll look like you've got 2 stitches in the first one. Okay, so we carry on doing a treble in each stitch all the way along, counting them as we go, and I'll be marking them with my stitch marker. So I'll see you when we get to the end. Right, so I come to the end of row 2, and I've got exactly 170 trebles all the way along there, plus the 3 chain that was at the beginning. And now I'm going to turn and I'm going to start row 3. Now row 3, she wants you to do 3 chain again. That's 1, 2, 3. And you're going to do a treble into the first stitch. Now this doesn't count as a stitch, so you'll be doing it into that first one right at the bottom of the 3 chain. And you'll do a treble, and it will sort of stick out like that. Right, so now you're going to chain 1, and you're going to miss the next stitch, so that's this V stitch here, and you'll be going into the next one, and you're going to do a treble in there, and that's going to give you the space. And then again, 1 chain, miss a stitch, and then you're going in this one and you're doing a treble. Again, 1 chain, miss a stitch, and you're going in this one here and you're doing a treble. And that's what it's looking like so far. Now you'll be doing that all the way along, and when you get to the end, I'll see you there and we'll count and make sure we got the right amount. Right, so when you get to the end, you've done your 1 chain, miss a stitch, treble into the next stitch, and then you're left with a treble and a 3 chain. So you now have to do a treble in the last stitch. Now the last stitch is this one here, the treble. So you do a treble into there. You do not do anything into this 3 chain. So these are right next to each other. So when you count, you don't, that isn't a chain space. So when you count, you have got 84 of those holes all the way along. And then at the other end you will have that 3 chain. So that's what it'll look like, and that doesn't count as a space. So you start counting your spaces from here where you did your miss stitch, and your last space will be this one here, and you will have 84 of those. And then we can turn and start, or row 4. Right, so row 4, it says do 3 chains. That's 1, 2, 3. And then it says to do a treble in every treble and every chain space. So this doesn't count as a stitch, so we need to do a treble right in at the base of that 3 chain. This doesn't count as a space, it was just a 3 chain. So we will go into this, the top of this treble. So it'll look like that. Then this is our first chain space, and we will go into the chain space and do a treble. Then we will go into the top of this treble and do a treble. And then we'll go into the chain space again and do a treble. And you'll do that all the way along. And there you can see what it looks like. So you've got this sort of extra bit here, but don't worry about that. Okay, so I'll see you at the end, and we should have 170 trebles. So that won't be counting this chain at the beginning. Okay, I'll see you at the end. At the end of round 3, I have followed the written pattern, which tells you to put a treble in at the end. Now that'll give you the 84 spaces, because that's not a space, the 84 spaces all the way along, and up to here, because that's not a space. So you've got your 84 spaces, but it'll give you one 3 chain. That's the 3 chain at the beginning. And then you've got 2 trebles at the end, because you need that to get your correct stitches when you go on to the next row. So now, when you go on to this row, you do your 3 chain, and then you do a treble into the same space as a 3 chain, because it doesn't count as a stitch. And then you do a treble into this treble here, and into this chain space and treble here, and you go all the way along, and that'll give you your 170 trebles at the end. If you don't put this stitch, which they tell you to do in the pattern, if you don't put that in, you'll be out with your stitch count along here. And now I'm going to start row 5 with the clementine. Right, so you're doing 3 chain, and then you're going to do 2 treble into the first stitch, and that is the first stitch there, just below that 3 chain. So that's 1, 2, in there. So it should look like that. And then you're going to miss 2 stitches. So that will be this one here and this one here. To be going into this one here. And you're going to do a 3 treble cluster in that stitch. So it will be 1, 2, 3. So it'll be like that. And you're going to do that all the way along. Miss 2 stitches, and then a 3 treble cluster in the next stitch. Like that. and carry on all the way along to the last 4 stitches. I'll see you there. Right, so when you get to the end of row 5, you should have 4 stitches left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says here that you miss 2 stitches and then you do 2 trebles in this stitch. That's 1, 2. And then you do 1 treble in the last stitch, which is there. And then you fasten off. And that will give you at the beginning, you will have had your 3 chain that doesn't count as a stitch, and then your 2 trebles in the first stitch. Then you will have 55 clusters, and at the end you will have this, it will be your 55th cluster, and then you will have 2 trebles in this stitch and 1 treble in that stitch. And altogether that will give you your 170 stitches. So it's keeping your stitch count correct. And like I say, if you follow the written pattern, then everything works out well. But the video misses out this last treble here. And that's, I think, what's causing people problems. Also, because that 3 chain is right next to your first treble, that is not a space. So that doesn't count as a space. And at the end, they're right next to each other, so that doesn't count as a chain space. So you have got 84 chain spaces, and you have 86, because you don't include this 3 chain, you have 86 trebles, which is what it says in the pattern. So row 6, we're joining the Cupid colour, which is a very cerise pink, and we're doing 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. So you're doing 3 chain in the first stitch. It also says to do a treble into this first stitch, like that. And then it says to do 3 treble clusters into the spaces between the clusters from the last row. So I would say that was that one there. Otherwise you're going to have too many. So you're going to go into this one and do 3. Like that. And the next one. Like that. So you've done your 3 chain and you've done 1 treble, and then you've gone into the first space between the clusters. And you're going to do that all the way along into every space. And I'll see you at the other end, and we'll count our stitches, and hopefully we should have 170 trebles. Right, so when you get to the end of row 6, it says to do, at the last space, do 3 chain cluster. That's 1, 2, 3. And then it says to miss a stitch, so that's that stitch there. And then in this stitch do a treble and then fasten off. So that means we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56 clusters. That's 56 clusters. Then you've got a 1 treble at the end, and then here the 3 chain doesn't count, and you've got a 1 treble there. So 3 times 56 gives you 168, and then you've got the 2 singles either side, which makes 170. So that's your 170 stitch count. Right, and then we can start row 7. Row 7 is the grass colour, which is this colour. And I'm doing a slip knot. Joining in the last stitch. So there we are, we join in and we do a 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. And then it says to miss the first stitch. So that is the one that you've got the 3 chain in. So you miss that. And then you do 2 trebles into the chain space, which is that one there. So you do 2 into there. 1, 2. So you had a 3 chain into that stitch, and then you did 2 into that space there. And then you carry on right along doing clusters of 3 into every space until you get to the end, to the last space, which will be here, and you will do 2 trebles in there and a treble in the last stitch, and then you'll fasten off. So I'll meet you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 7 in the grass, it says to do a cluster in every space, and then when you get to the last one, you do 2 trebles in the last space. That's 1, 2, and then it says to do 1 treble in the last stitch. So that's that one there. That's 1. And then you fasten off. And then you should have you've got 3 chain here and 2 trebles. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So you have 55 3 trebles. Then you have 2 trebles there, because you don't count that one there. And then you've got 3 there, which makes 55 times 3, which makes 165. Then you've got 3 trebles there, makes 168. And then you don't count this one here because it's a 3 chain, and those 2 trebles makes 170. And that's your 170 trebles. And really that's what you want to keep doing, checking that you've got 170 each time. Right, so now we're going to do row 8, and then it will be a matter of repeating 7 and 8 in the different colours. So row 8 you add the white. So we got to the end here and we turn, and then you add the white in the first stitch, and you're doing 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, and you're doing a treble into that first stitch, so the same stitch from where the 3 chain came from, and it's going to look like that, which is basically the same as that one. It's mirror image of that one, every other stitch. And then you're going to do your clusters. So you'll be doing a cluster in here, 3 chain cluster in here. Like that. And then you're going to go all the way along in these spaces, and it'll be a mirror image of the pink. And I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of the 8th row, it says to the last 2 stitches, which are these 2, it says to miss a stitch and to treble into the last stitch, which is this one here, like that. And then you fasten off. And then that'll be like the pink, where we had 56 trebles. So yes, so you've got 56 3 clusters, which makes 168. Then you've got a treble here, makes 169. And you've got 1 treble here, makes 170, and that's your 3 chain. So that's your 170 trebles. And now you're going to carry on repeating rows 7 and 8 all the way along and follow the pattern until you've got all the colours, right until row 21. So row 21 you will repeat it again, and then I'll meet you back there at row 22 after we've done all the repeats and all the colours. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so we finished row 21, and that was the last of the alternate colour rows. So you should have been doing a repeat of row 7 and row 8 throughout. The last row you end up with 55 clusters, which makes 165 trebles. Then you've got 2 trebles at the end here in this space. That makes 167, plus this last stitch is 168. And then at this end you've got 2 trebles in here, which makes 170, and this one doesn't count because that's the 3 chain. So that is the 170 stitches that you need to be moving on with. So now we do row 22 and we join the white, and we turn and we join. Well, we've just finished, fastened off, and we're joining and doing a 3 chain. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you're doing a treble into each stitch right to the end. So this doesn't count as a stitch, so you'll be doing a treble in there. Like that. And then the next one will go into this stitch here. And then the next one into here. And you'll do that all the way along. And I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 22, you should have 170 trebles, which I've counted. And the last stitch goes above this treble here. You do not put anything in this here because this is your 3 chain that doesn't count as a stitch. So your last white treble will go in above there. And then you turn and you're going to do 3 chain, carrying on in the white, and this is row 23. You're going to do 3 chains. That's 1, 2, 3. It doesn't count as a stitch. You now do a treble in each of the next 2 stitches. So this doesn't count, so you'll do it in this first stitch, and you'll do it in the next stitch. So it'll look like that. Then you do 1 chain, you miss a stitch, and you treble into the next. So miss a stitch and we treble into there, like that. And then we repeat the 1 chain, miss a stitch, treble into the next. 1 chain, miss a stitch, treble into the next. And you do that all the way along till you get to the end, and I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 23, you carry on right to the end. So I've just done my treble. I then do my 1 chain, miss a stitch, and then I'm going in the top of here. And that is my last stitch, because this stitch is a 3 chain and that doesn't count. And that's what it should look like. And then you're ready to turn and do row 24. So row 24 is 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. It's a treble into each of the trebles and 1 chain spaces until you get to the end. Now this doesn't count as a stitch, so your first treble will go into here. Your next treble will go into the space and then into the top of the treble. And you'll do that all the way along. Going into the space and the treble. And it'll look like that. And I'll see you at the end. Right, so when you get to the end of row 24, doing your trebles, you've done the 1 in the chain space, you do 1 in here, and you do 1 in here. You don't touch this one because that is the 3 chain that doesn't count. And that will give you your 170 stitches. And then you turn, we do 1 chain, and then we do a double crochet into each stitch. So you do a double crochet into this stitch because that 1 chain doesn't count as a stitch. That's 1, and then you do all the way along. 170 double crochets. And I'll see you at the end. Right, so at the end of row 25, you carry on doing your double crochets and you do it into that is the last stitch you do it into, this one here. And I've been counting all the way along, and that's given me my 170 stitches. So you fasten off, and that is the end of week 1. So yeah, it's looking really good. Very pretty. I hope it's gone well for everyone. Not too many hiccups. It's a bit wavy at the end here, but as long as your stitch count is correct, I think you don't need to worry too much. It'll all pull itself in and out the right way when we start putting it all together. But yes, so I'll see you on week 2. Bye for now.